Oh, gee, probably about 10 years now, but prior to that, well, it goes back probably 25 years because I was working in the non-government sector prior to my government experience as well. So, yeah, I've been working in the industry from I suppose, a management perspective and a policy role for many, many years. And obviously between that, I've worked in government as well in social policy. So that's been a nice meeting of the ways and being able to bring that together. Oh, look, there's been a maturing over the years of industry, even the term industry. Now, whatever you want to call it, it's what CSI, it's what we call it, and I think it's about that working together and being able to understand the power of working together and understanding that industry can lead rather than being a passive recipient. Oh, look, there's a lot of agendas that are big for this industry, and I think at the end of the day, it's about trying to get on the front foot and I suppose shape up what that means. Now there's things like the productivity agenda. Now there will be a government response to the Productivity Commission's inquiry into human services. So things are moving on that framework in this area, and we need to be on the front foot and define what it means for our industry. This is a new narrative, and we're setting off on a new journey here. But clearly, there are things that define this industry that are different to the economic paradigm. So we're doing a lot of work with the Community Services Reform Council around the concept of public value and how that intersects with productivity. So I think there's a big agenda there that we need to really shape up and define that narrative for ourselves. My whole career, oh my goodness. Look, I worked in Department of Premier and Cabinet for 5.5 years in a social policy role, and I think that gave me such a great grounding in terms of social policy, whether that be education, Indigenous policy, housing policy, and health policy. So I think I have been able to bring those that multi-focus to a policy role, and I think having an understanding of how the mechanisms of government works is so important when you take on a policy role in the non-government sector. So I do see that as a career highlight. It was exciting during the BD days. It was powerful, it was influential, and I've been able to, it challenged me so much, but I've been able to take what I learnt during those 5.5 years and really embed it in my ongoing career as well. To expose yourself to different areas, different I think it's becoming more and more important to bring in, I suppose, different perspectives, particularly in terms of leadership role, and it's getting that the government perspective, non-government perspective, the private perspective, but the economic perspective, the social perspective. It's so important to have a breadth of experience and then to distill that down, bring that together in terms of well-rounded policy. It's sad and it's exciting. What I see is an organisation that was a startup. It's now clearly in the realm of sustainability. We had a vision long ago, and that vision has played out in a wonderful way. It's now established. It's really bringing some beneficial and useful work to the industry. I see it's had an influence in terms of industry work together and basically bring that leadership role to its own environment. So I suppose whilst it's sad to be moving on, I see that there's an organisation that is mature, sophisticated, and now able to go forward into the future. So in some ways, it's a very happy time as well. Totally hedonistically heading off into a motorhome and driving around, taking a range of road trips with my beloved, and obviously being challenged in firstly by understanding a bit about the communities that we work. Having a lovely time, walking and exercising and swimming and having our happy hour drinks, but also just looking on with interest as to where CSIA goes and how the industry continues to mature, and maybe possibly continuing to do some work in that realm.